Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. It's Sunday Comics, and I thought I would take a look at Avengers 154. There you go. This is one of the first Avengers comics I ever got. Matter of fact, I got this comic in a 3-pack. I think it was like a KB Toys. They had like back then they would take 3 comic books, wrap them up. You had Avengers on one side, like Fantastic Four on the other, and then in the middle was like Heathcliff or something like that. you know, I forget what was packaged with, but I remember buying this at a toy store back when comic books were everywhere. This isn't the one I got off the rack. The one I got off the rack is real beaten up because I read it and read it and read it, threw it in the box. This was a copy that I bought since then because I just love this era of the Avengers. I've been talking about I arbitrarily decided that started collecting Avengers with 150, but I had a couple of I had one issue 117 for a while before that, but officially collecting, meaning buying every month, I say around 150. So that is the number that I give and I've since gotten every back issue. So I got a full set of Avengers from 1 to to about 2015. So there you go. I love the Avengers. So let's check out the comments. Hey, we got Rex, Devil Flyer, Momentum. I started reading Avengers with 157, so 154 is my sweet spot. Yeah, these are so good. These are so good. Like, what else you want me to say? These are so good. This is my link for Heroic Tales. This link is going to be active for a couple more weeks. Then it's going to be shut down, and I will do a campaign for issue number 2. So, get it while it's hot. Get it while it's hot. I'll talk about that later. Marcus throwing out my links. We got Kojo. I just picture this like computer speak. Like and share, please, everyone. Yeah, bastards. How you doing, Zachtan? Having a blessed Sunday. So cool. This is a good Sunday. I stayed up late. I woke up before my alarm. It was just nice having some coffee. Cool picture on old Avengers. Never disappoint. Yeah, these are so good, and you'll see why. You'll see why once I open it up. What's my ideal Avengers team? Well, Captain America as the leader. Oh, to me, Captain America is the Avengers. I like Iron Man, Captain America, Beast, Wonder Man, Yellow Jacket. I freaking love Yellow Jacket. Thor, Wonder Man, Scarlet Witch. Just pretty much. I mean, is it a coincidence that the Avengers in this era is my Avengers? And I will say, if you get Avengers from 150 to like 200, 150 to 200, it's 50 issues of just top notch comics. Some of the best. I think it's the best Avengers run ever, even beating the Jack and Stan issues. Yeah, without a doubt. Devil Flyer, Devil's Weapon, epic size 48 page one shot. Yep, there you go. There's the link for Devil Flyer Momentum. Roger Stern Avengers is my favorite run. Yeah, pretty much the comics that you read. They say that like the music that you listen to when you were a teenager is your music for life. And I get that because music is very emotional and it's what you listen to with your buddies and hanging out and, meeting your first girlfriends, getting your first car, your first jobs, like it's that those teenage years are so special in America. And the music that you listen to is the soundtrack to those wonderful years. So, the music that I listen to from like 14 to 19 is the music I still listen to. I love it. But I think with comics, it's like the comics that you got into first, be it, if you got into comics when you were 14, those are the comics that you're going to love for the rest of your life. But I got into comics born in 68. I started collecting comics around 75. You know what I mean? So those are the comics that I'll never stop loving that era of comics, be it Fantastic Four, be it Avengers. I really do think that like your first comics are the comics that just stick with you. Good morning, Oscar. Oscar is the colorist on issue two's Mary Sue, and he's also the artist and colorist for Eddie is Doomed. Super talented guy. Super talented guy. He also will be doing another how to draw videos on my channel. I thought that was so much fun. Is this the Buscema Avengers? We'll see when we open it up. This cover is by Jack Kirby and Al Milgrom. But who does the inside? Well, I'll leave you in suspense for a minute. How are you doing? Okay, I like when people talking. We got Nick Axe over here. How you doing, Nick? How are you surviving up there in Canada? Are you inundated with snow? Is your igloo keeping you warm? More importantly, how are the ducks? How are the ducks? For those of you who don't know, Nick has ducks. Nick has ducks, and they're adorable. Buscema Avengers were my team with Giant Man or West Coast. Yeah. I tend to skew a little older because I'm a little older than Oscar, but I ain't gonna argue. Those are some good comic. West Coast Avengers. I gotta break out West Coast Avengers. I haven't yet. I haven't brought out any West Coast Avengers at all since I've done this channel. That's something I need to fix. Thanks for reminding me. We got Torchbearer Studio saying, good morning, all. Good morning, Torchbearer. How's it going, buddy? What Geeks Do Network. I will always be grateful to What Geeks Do Network for making my little snappy, punky, pop punky little intro, you know, and I love it. Yeah, Stir to Buscema, fantastic. Absolutely, absolutely. And it seems like nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about it, you know, and it really is some good. And if I remember correct, maybe I remember it's like longer than you'd think. And let's also give credit to Tim Hortons Coffee. Speaking of Canadians, Nick, do you drink Tim Hortons coffee up there in the frozen Great White North? Oh, ooh, that almost went down the wrong pipe. You almost saw me choke to death live. I like what everybody's talking to each other. Everybody's saying hello. We are a friendly group of comic book nerds. What's up? I read Iron Man 124 like years ago or just now. I think what was 124? Sometimes sometimes the numbers escape me. All right, so let's check this out. I love everything about this. Oh, just now. Okay, cool. Which issue is that one? I'm trying to remember. This, if they have an East Coast team and a West Coast team, they should also have a Texas or Bible Belt team. Yeah, they kind of did the Great Lakes Avengers, but it was, you know, that goofy team. Oh yeah, when Iron Man went against Blizzard. Yeah, that was I remember that cover. I could picture that cover. Yeah, I remember that one. Oh, I already clicked on that because it just bumped. Marcus was saying, this is one of my favorite mine too. And you'll see when I open it up. I'm purposely not talking about it now to build up suspense. Nick says, it's minus 6 degrees Celsius. Ducks are surviving. It's the wind off the lakes that makes you freeze. Yeah. I work by the airport in Jamaica, and like the wind just comes off Jamaica Bay. Oh, it's colder there than it is. Plus the building doesn't have walls yet, so it just goes through you. But I'm on furlough for 4 weeks. So hopefully when I go back to work, it'll be a little warmer. So I'm not getting upset, man. I am gonna be home. I got a lot to do. So I got time to do it. So I ain't complaining. You know, that's just the nature of the beast. In my job, every 6 months they update the furlough numbers, so things are looking a little better. Because last year it was 12 weeks furlough. This year it's only 8 weeks. So things are picking up by 2 weeks. So I got to do 8 weeks of no work. So I'm getting 4 weeks done right now in the coldest part of the year. I ain't complaining about that. I would rather work when it's hot than cold. I mean, I'll complain about the heat. And I do think that the heat is more dangerous. Nobody goes to the hospital for frostbite on my job. But some people go to the hospital for heat stroke. So, but I just lost the ability to deal with the cold. I am, look at me. I'm sitting in my house with this on, you know. Oh, and that just reminded me. T-shirts came in. So I got new Patriarch shirts, all sizes, double extra large. You know, all sizes. I don't think I got small because let's face it, we're not small people. And the Mary Sue shirts came in and they look awesome. So I'm gonna take them out of the package. I'm gonna take my Mary Sue shirt. I'll wear it to show what it looks like. But so if anybody's interested in t-shirts, you could go to the Fund My Comic site, pick them up. They're there, or you could just PayPal me at johnslongbox@yahoo.com. There you go. John, do you have a favorite comic book with awesome cover art or crappy art inside? Let me think about that. Do I have a favorite comic book with awesome cover art but crappy art? I got to think about that. I'm sure I do. I'm sure I do. You stumped me right now. I got to think about that. The Great Lakes team, let's go have the Midwestern conservative. Well, they tried to do that. If you remember, what was it? The Avengers Initiative. They had like a super team in every state run by Norman Osborn, which was an interesting era, but it went a little too long and a little too dark for me, but it was interesting. In the Bob Layton's Iron Man run, Tony Stark was famously an alcoholic, and I forget who somebody didn't like that. I think it was Larry Lieber didn't like that. I think Larry has an emotional attachment to Anthony Stark. Larry Lieber personally told me himself that he does not like when people say Tony Stark. He says Tony Stark makes you pizza. Anthony Stark designs Iron Man armor. I'm so numb with like 10 Fahrenheit. Can imagine the cold at -2. Yeah. It's soul draining. I just like angry at work. I'm so cold. I describe it as like Ghost Rider, Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider, when he hit you with the hellfire. Everybody was like, "You're fire. It's so cold. It like burns your soul." Like that's just how I describe it when I'm working in the cold. But I don't have to deal with it for a month. So there we go. So let's check out Avengers 154, 30 cents. I love this stripe over here. Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the Avengers. And I love the floating heads talking. And when I was a kid, my friend Sean and my friend Carl, the guys who pretty much got me interested in comics. Like I was always interested. Every kid was interested in comics. Back then, I'm talking like kindergarten to third grade in the early 70s. Everybody read comics. It was just part of being an American kid, just like you ate hot dogs, played frisbee. But like not everybody was like, could you imagine just being like, I'm totally into hot dogs, So I was one of these kids who's like everybody else read comics. Girls read comics, everybody read comics. It was just part of being an American. But then I got really into it. And we used to do these things where we would sing the words on the cover, like it was a good Lord, this can't be happening, but it's happening. Cap the Vision. My favorite is the Thor when he's fighting Hyperion, because it actually has like rhyme and meter. But look at this. So we got Captain America, we got Wonder Man, we got the Scarlet Witch, we got Iron Man, and we got Atuma. It's not Atuma. Yes, it is Atuma. And we got the Vision. And now let's open it up. Like I said, this is Jack Kirby, Al Milgrom. You can see the little signature over here. And ta-da! You open it up. It's Jerry Conway, writer, George Perez, artist and storyteller. And I always wonder, like, so writer and editor, Jerry Conway, George Perez, artist and storyteller. What does that mean? Like he came up with the plot? And then Pablo Marcos, embellisher. Pablo Marcos is, oh my God, just so good. And as far as I know, it's like he doesn't get the credit he deserves. So when I say embellisher, they do a little bit more than the inker. The inkers always get the short end of the stick, if you ask me. They if what's the name of that Kevin Smith movie, Mallrats, where they called the inker just the tracer, like he traces, but that's not entirely true, And then embellisher, I think you you kind of finishing the art. So I think George Perez just did like basic layouts and slight pencils, and Pablo Marcus just finished it up and inked it. So that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm going with. I'm sure Marcus could correct me if I'm wrong. John Costanza, who's not related to George Costanza, the letterer, and Don Warfield, colorist. So all of these guys, this is an A team as far as I'm concerned. The only person I'm not familiar with is Don Warfield. Maybe I've seen his name before, I just don't recognize it. But I don't think Don Warfield was around a long time, because I just don't recognize the name. And what year do we got? We got Avengers 1, 2, 3, 4, 1976. 1976. So I always say that I started collecting comics in 1975. So, and this is December 1976. So look at this strange layout. We got the Vision over here, and the coloring of the Vision is very faint. And what does that mean? That means that the Vision is intangible, non-corporeal, ethereal, whatever word you want to use. But the word they always used with the Vision was intangible, meaning he's ghost-like. So right now, like he's gossamer. He's so light, and his density is so low that he could float on the winds, which always made me, how does he fly? Like, he flies because he flies, but he has the power of flight. And what is he doing? He's dropping the serpent crown into the sea. And one strikes Atuma. Look, I could look at this panel over and over again. It's just so cool. And you could see the George Perez. This is gonna sound weird, but George Perez always had like a distinct shape on like the lower body. So it's to me, that's one of his tells. Just look. So what's going on? It's finishing a big old story. So what does it say? Don't take our word for it. Check out the last issue, giant-sized Avengers #6, still on sale. So this is continuing another story. And what has gone before? I can't reread that. Wonder Man is back from the dead. And if that doesn't tell you things that have been popping, catch this. Listen to this language. It's just so funny. Wonder Man is back from the dead. And if that doesn't tell you that things have been popping, catch this. The Wizard has returned, and the Scarlet Witch is wounded. The Living Laser has captured and lost the Serpent Crown, and the Vision is dropping said crown into the center of the Pacific Ocean. That's not a good idea. You don't drop the Serpent Crown where Cthulhu lives. You don't do that. Come on, Avengers, do better. Do better. So from this point forward, I will address the pages shown, and then I will address the comments. Okay, so let's look. We got Pete Rock. Have to wonder how long before Disney recasts Avengers for a new series of movies. It's a cash cow they will certainly milk. Yeah. I don't mind that. I just want there to be good movies. And if they do recast them, don't do the whole race gender swap thing. Texas and the South have a cold, but we'll warmed up a bit. Yeah, I think it's starting to warm up. I remember those Atlantic attack. Yeah, those are years later. I think that's 10, 11 years later, the Atlantis attack event in all the annuals. This is before company crossover events. And if you ask me, this is like some of the high points in Marvel right around here. Once they started doing the with the exception of Secret Wars, that was great. But after the company crossover events were really, really just not good. Just not good, if you ask me. John Costanza is the personal assistant to the traveling inker. Really? Okay. Tony Stark makes you feel he's a cool executive with the heart of steel. An Iron Man with jets ablaze, he fights and smites with repulsories. Amazing armor, that's Iron Man. A blazing armor, that's Iron Man. 10 points to anybody besides myself and Marcus, who knows where that comes from. I started as an inker with high type pencils, easy, just separate plane, but some pencils are only sketched. There's a finished work to find the drawing. Yeah, listen to Oscar. He's in the business. He's a pro. And matter of fact, you could get, well, you could get a lot of his work in Eddie is Doomed when we get that. But right now, on this, in the comic book stores, you could get Rome Eternal by Magma Comics. Oscar's doing the coloring, and the coloring is outstanding. Rome Eternal is like a what if the Roman Empire never fell, and it's got like real Kirby and Mobius art. You know, I don't know where the story is going, but I like that, and it's just a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. There's 2 issues out now. In the 1960s Iron Man cartoon theme, yes, you're okay. So 10 points for Gryffindor. George Perez did the comic effect a plot Marvel method, not from the writer scripts. Okay, I read that totally wrong. George Perez did the comic plot Marvel method, not from the right. That's okay. Okay, I get it. Agreed. A volcano might have been buried if destruction is bad. Yes. On my way to church. Catch you later. I doubt that Perez could only do non-detailed pencils, though. Yeah. He what do they call that? Artism? Artism, kind of offensive but funny at the same time. I like this. I just noticed this. This looks like I'm wearing the Eye of Agamotto. This is the camera, but it's open Eye of Agamotto. Genuine Comics. Hello, John. Greetings, chat. Yeah, you know it's funny. I was going through my Villains and Vigilantes role playing character sheets for over the years, because there's a whole bunch of characters being introduced in issue 2, and I want to get cards made for them. I get a lot of cards for issue 2, so I was going to get their character sheets so that I could copy the information so I could send it to Renowned so he could format them in the proper format for the cards. And I found a sheet for my character named 10. Before Stranger Things, before Perfect 10, I made this female android who was a perfect 10. She was, and she was the 10th android. And I've been telling Dave, I had the same concept. It's such a good idea. Me and Dave are on the same wave. So I took a picture of the character sheet and sent it to Dave. And Dave was like, she's even an android. It's just funny. Just shows you that Dave makes good comics, man. We're on the same wavelength. This is any wonder I sing the praises to his comics. Madness Comic. Hey, Pops. This is an old cartoon. They did call it animation back then. Yeah, they say cartoons. Logic's Finest made a Seinfeld reference. Oh, there you go. I didn't get it. In many ways, the Roman Empire still continues. Yeah, Roman Empire, I still think about it. Patriarch still thinks about it. 10 more points if you know the Thor lyrics. From the Rainbow Bridge to Asgard, where the gloomy heavens roar. The mighty thunder of mighty Thor. Something like that. See, the comics have directly influenced. It jumped Bread Circus to the people. We got Pops. Pops is on 2 accounts over here. And Perfect 10, Book Power Trip. Yeah, it's still available. I highly recommend these comics. And now that he's got a stack of them, you could get them all and capitalize on one package as far as shipping. Yeah. Okay, so I'm caught up. So let's turn the page. 25 minutes. I didn't even open the book yet. So we got the Vision over here, just dropping the Serpent Crown. But what is the Serpent Crown? The Serpent Crown is like this ancient artifact. I'm surprised it didn't make it into the Marvel movies yet, because it's up there with like the Cosmic Cube as like just the MacGuffins. So it's this one ring type thing. It's this crown made in ancient Lemuria. And when you wear it, it basically gives you the power to like this ambiguously ill-defined power, kind of like the One Ring, that just gives you power. I think it like amplifies the cravings that you already have, and some people have used it to command legions. Other people, they just put it on their head as a symbol of authority. What does it do? They never really explicitly said it, and I kind of like that. It's never really explicitly said. So we got that. And then look at these slice panels. This is one of the things that I'm trying to think about as I'm writing my scripts of comics. They're saying basically one sentence. So this could have been one big panel and then a big, huge text exposition box that you're kind of seeing a lot right now. But George Perez basically does that because it's just the Vision dropping the crown and flying away. But what does he do? 1, 2, 3, 4. He turns it to 4 panels. Each panel has its own little box linked. So this is just a giant info dump, but it's done with panache. How's that? Panache. Is that a good word? And then what do we got here? A submarine fires at him. And what is he doing? He's giving us, it's an info dump. He's bringing us up to speed, telling us about the Serpent Crown, what's it doing? Wonder Man's back from the dead. You know, what is his existence like? How does that affect me? And blah, 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 blah. Boom. And a missile. He's like, what? Someone attacking me from the middle of the oddly designed ship seems to be the source of the attack. And though I can control the density of my body to avoid their missiles, the attack has me curious. And I love this little Kirby crackle. Like whenever the Vision touches matter, it's a visual cue to let us know that he's phasing through, you know, passing through like Casper the Friendly Ghost into the and what do we got here? A protruder control of the Atlantean Empire, and he just comes up. So now we got the Vision becoming solid. So you could see how his color, like you could see this faint color, and over here it's more vibrant. That indicates that he's becoming solid. And at this point, the Vision was my favorite Avenger, and I'm starting to realize it's probably because of this comic. So the Vision, he's got this gem that's constantly absorbing solar radiation. That's like what powers the Vision, and he could release that solar radiation as a heat beam. So he fires a heat ray at these Atlanteans. Heat is just something that just takes them out because they're, you know, they live below the sea. Heat dries them out, you know, all that stuff. So now the electro prod, and what does he do now? This has always been gruesome. I always thought the Vision just reaches in, and what does he do? He phases his fingers into this guy's face and then solidifies him for a second. Oh, and it just like, apparently your prod could neither harm nor touch me. Well, I could do both to you. So this to me is an error because he's got the solid colors over here, but the electro prod is going through. So that's a coloring mistake. That's a coloring mistake. It should have been more like, for a split second, he was more clearer looking, you know. And then boom, this guy's like, what's going on? They're all taking out their weapons. And then the Vision turns around, and what this guy figures out, like he gets sonic waves. So it doesn't matter what form the Vision is, he seems to be able to hear, so therefore he could be affected by sonic waves. I love when they do stuff like that. I know we're talking about androids and solar beams from jewels and guys who could pass through, but there's some sort of logic to it. At no point did the Vision say, I can't hear anything, you know, so there has to be his ears at some point could pick up this, so he's affected by these sonic waves. And then I just love the detail that George Perez puts in this. He's knocked out, and you can see the lines in his cape as he's laying there, you know, stunned from the sonic blast. He's down. The strategy worked perfectly, Gort. But that crown we saw him drop. Should we find it, report it to leader? No, we've done what we came to do. So it has nothing to do with the Serpent Crown. It has everything to do with the Avengers. So let's check out the comments. In the chill of night and the scene of a crime like a streak of light, he arrives just in time. That's Spider-Man. Spider-Man, he does whatever a spider can. See, they're hard to remember. Yeah, the words, yeah. Views matter on all platforms. I try to spread the wealth. There we go. Madness is popping all over the place. Hey, Dave. Hey, Fatty. The original Vision character from the 40s was created by Joe Simon, Jack Kirby. The current version is based on Kirby creation, was almost completely reworked. Yeah, that's something I should talk about. Marvel Comics has been around since the 40s, even though, Fantastic Four is the first comic with Marvel on it. There was Marvel Comics made by Timely. Timely was the name of the company. Then Timely became Atlas, and then Atlas became Marvel. But it's all the same company. Forgive me for wiping my nose. And Timely Comics had a comic called Marvel Comics, and it was the first appearance of the Human Torch and the first appearance of I think Namor also. So there was a Human Torch before Johnny Storm. What was his name? Jim Hammond. There was also a Vision, and the Vision was this extra dimensional being who used smoke as a medium for transport. He was kind of creepy and spooky, and I like one of those. He was like a mystery man. Every once in a while, they bring him back in Marvel, and then once Marvel, you know, in the 50s, it was Atlas was known for horror and mostly war comics and some Western comics and monster comics. And then the Fantastic Four brought back what they call the Marvel Age, where it was superheroes and stuff. They brought back a lot of these forgotten names. They brought back the Human Torch as Johnny Storm, a different character, and then they brought back the old Vision as this new Vision. They also brought back Daredevil, but Daredevil was a non-Marvel character, so there was a lot of recycled names. Roy Thomas and John Buscema brought the Vision back. Yeah, was it Avengers 57, one of those greatest covers of all time? You know, I love that. I love that cover. Good morning, Crenshaw. For those of you who are curious, that I did a talk for 2 hours last night with Crenshaw on his channel. It's a lot of fun. It was me, him, and Dio from Tomb of Reckoning. That's his comic. Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't the original Human Torch actually a robot? Yeah, he was an android. An android. Don't call him a robot. That hurts his feelings. A robot is non-human looking, and an android is, you know, from Andros, man, it looks human. I'm busting the chops. But yes, he was an android. Hello, Pops. Hello, Crenshaw. So let's turn the page. You guys want to learn the secret of teaching yourself music? Look at this nice young fella, probably in a folk church group, singing. You know, he could get the chicks, but he's saving himself. You know, just a nice, wholesome fella. Probably wears kung fu sandals, and he does not have an eerie skull flashlight. This is not the kind of kid that would have an eerie skull flashlight. Yeah, he writes poems. You know, CB Pocket Dictionary. You got to have a pocket dictionary. Can you imagine you're out and about and somebody says effulgent to you and you don't know what they mean? You got to have a pocket dictionary. Come on. You know what's funny is that we all have a pocket dictionary now, right? We all have a phone. So let's turn the page. There we go. And now we got classic George Perez buildings. These early George Perez buildings, they look like Jack Kirby buildings. I just love this. You know, the Quinjet. I love that the superhero teams could just flout the rules and they could have rockets landing on skyscrapers in the middle of Manhattan. Like the Fantastic Four, they got like the Pogo plane, they got another rocket. The Avengers have like multiple Quinjets, and they just take off in the middle of Manhattan. You know, I just love that the superheroes get the privilege of breaking the law. And then we got a Wonder Man over here carrying the Wizard, who was injured, and they just land this rocket right in the hospital. They're not even taking him to Avengers Mansion. They're taking him right to the hospital. Look at this panel. Look at the coloring scheme in this. Everything is yellow except for the heroes. You know, they're like orangey color. It's just a bizarre choice. Do you think that works? Jury's out for my mind. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that works? I mean, today's everything would be colored. Like I don't. The more I look at it, the more I think that this panel doesn't work as far as the coloring goes. But I think today it would just be super detailed and it would not work. But for the opposite reason, everything would be colored too much. And here we got, you know, Avengers. We got Iron Man, we got Wonder Man in this horrible old-fashioned weird costume. That's also awesome. Captain America, the Wasp. We got the Beast over here. We got Yellow Jacket. I think I'd love Yellow Jacket's costume. Yellow Jacket's costume is one of the greatest superhero costumes of all time. So now what are they doing? They're filling us in on all the details. So the doctors ask what happened. He's a friend of all of us, Cap. If he hadn't thrown himself against Nucleo, I really should show Giant Size Avengers #6. That's a great comic in itself. It's like I could pretty much show every issue of Avengers from 150 to 200 and do like just a series on every issue in this era is that good. If he hadn't thrown himself against Nucleo, the radioactive lost. If he hadn't thrown himself against Nucleo, radioactive. This will make the blooper reel. If he hadn't thrown himself against Nucleo, Los Angeles would be a radioactive crater, and the Avengers would be dead. Take care of him, Doctor. I'll do what I can. Imagine a guy with a heart condition being a superhero. So the Wizard has a heart condition. He's an old man at this point. He fought in World War II under the Liberty Legion, I think was his team. But unlike Captain America, he was never frozen, so he was allowed to age up. So he's an old man. Not only that, Hank, but he had to attack his own son to save us. Nucleo is Wizard's son. The mother is Madeline Joyce, Miss America, and Bob Frank, the Wizard, had a child who was Nucleo. Nucleo was born deformed and radioactive and all nasty. And he was raised by or kept almost like prisoner by the on Wundagore by the High Evolutionary, because whatever. And then for a short time, Wanda and Pedro were given to the Wizard, and they were told that they were their kids. They thought the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were their kids. I forget, it's long and convoluted, but then they were given to the gypsy Django, whatever his name is, Maximoff or whatever. And then they were Magneto's kids. So, because Magneto's wife, Magda, died in childbirth, and Magneto just never came back. Whole big convoluted story. So like it was really like a soap opera. Who were the parents of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver? So the potential parents. At first, we thought it was Wizard and Madeline Joyce, and I think that was originally the choice. But retroactive. Then it was the gypsy couple, and then Magneto. And again, I haven't read new Marvel comics in 10 years. Did they change that? I think the new parents now are the Moon Girl and Kamala Khan. Who knows? So now they're just talking about you know what the spooks say, Wonder Man. That flat out weird, the way he regained his memory when the living laser blasted him with the light beam. True beast. And we still don't know how he returned from the dead. These are a lot of unanswered questions concerning our friend Wonder Man. And he's standing right there. They're talking about him, like right behind him, pretty rude of Cap and Beast, but it's to give us the information. And then we got Scarlet Witch walking around, and I don't care what anybody says. To me, she was the most beautiful superhero woman, to my formative young hormones. She was it. She was Zaftig. She was Va-Va-Va-Voom. She was Aruga. She was all of those things. And I know this is old-fashioned, but she was sweet, and she was pleasant, and she was caring. She had all the feminine traits that are looked down upon, and I just and it's funny because she was very regal. And then when every once in a while they would remind us that she's only supposed to be like 19, 20, age 19 or 20 years old, but like she just carries herself like a very mature, matronly woman. And then just look at all the details that George Perez. He doesn't need to draw all of these trees, the doors, the mirror reflecting her, the cobblestones. It's just so good. So what happens now? An aircraft, and it's coming this way. It looks familiar. Never want. You're wounded. So here comes Jarvis, being the chivalrous man that he is. Get out of here, Wanda. You're wounded. I got this crazy Avengers weapon, so he shows up with this crazy Avengers weapon, and then she tells Jarvis to get out of here. I can handle it on my own. And again, look at all this detail packed in this little panel over here. So good, so good. So let's check out the comments. Torchberry needs some kung fu sandals. You know, I just gotta warn you, if you wear the kung fu sandals, can you be a nice? Yeah, you could be a nice folk church guitar guy. Yeah, you can. Yeah, androids need a safe space just to feel seen. Don't assume they them gender. Yep. I'm a fan of more flat colors. Me too. Me too. Nuclo is such a classic name. Yeah, it's an old school name. Is the wizard the one who got mongoose blood? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Old Dirty Fatty says, hi, Marcus. While this Wonder Man costume was nice, I always thought his red jacket costume made him more unique. Yeah, that's a little bit later. This costume gets he changes this costume to a new costume, and the new costume gets shredded, and then he puts the safari jacket on, and then that became his costume for a long time. This costume was created by Don Heck way back in Avengers #9 when he was created by the Masters of Evil. So Wonder Man was created by the Masters of Evil. The Masters of Evil at the time was the Enchantress, Baron Zemo, and was it the Executioner and Loki? Am I correct in saying that? So they never outright said it, but Wonder Man to me was a creation of magic and science. You know, so he's you know, just magic and science blended together. That's why they don't have a lot of like Wonder Man like beings, you know, and more specifically like Asgardian science. But Marcus, am I correct in the roster of villains? So let's turn the page over here. We got Elvis over here. We buy and sell comics, mini bikes. Oh my God. Anybody my age, Marcus, you grew up, you know, me and you were, I think Marcus is like the only person on the planet that's older than me, but he grew up in the same area as me. Marcus, do you recall mini bikes, how they were big in the 70s? Everybody had mini bikes. Everybody. Mini bikes were just small motorcycles that you just rode in the streets and the cops chased you around, and you know, you just, you know, the kids on the mini bikes knew the secret routes. You go into this guy's backyard. This guy's backyard had a dirt trail. You know, that's how you get out of from the cops chased you, because the cops couldn't follow you in their cars. But it was fun. It was like you kind of just like, the cops are coming. Boom! You just hit your mini bike. You know, it was fun. Free idea. Get some Slim Jims. You want some powerful muscles fast? If I tell you this, if I'm getting powerful muscles, it better be fast, because I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait for powerful muscles. You know, if you're gonna wait for powerful muscles, big deal. You know, who cares? I don't want to wait. Yes, it was Loki behind the scenes, but it was. I know it was the Enchantress and Baron Zemo, but I can't remember who else was in the Masters of Evil at the time. Avengers #9. Oscar is 50 years old. Yeah, I know you didn't grow up in New York, but were mini bikes big where you were? Yeah, mini bikes were big. I mean, mini bikes were small, but they were popular. And as the Eye of Agamotto acknowledges, a bold name choice, Masters of Evil, no self-esteem problems in that group. Yeah, well, they were. It was literally the Enchantress, Baron Zemo, you know, like the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, the Masters of Evil, you know, Bad Guys Incorporated, you know. We really should step back, Miss Wanda. The exit hatch is opening, right? Someone is climbing out. We don't write comics like this anymore. Like, you know, so this is a perfect example of the Marvel method right here. This panel, George Perez drew this. The hatch is opening. Somebody is climbing out. And then Jerry Conway was like, there's nothing to write in this panel, so I'm just going to state the obvious. You know, I'm holding a gun as Wanda stands next to me, and the sky is blue. You know, of all the ridiculous, Triton. What on earth is an Inhuman doing in New York City? I've come on an important mission. I've come to beg for help. So, I mean, could you ask for a better comic book? I mean, geez, you got the Avengers with all of these classic heroes, and now the Inhumans show up. Just come on, you know, this purplish pink and green, this aquatic creature from the Black Lagoon just shows up. The Inhumans are in deadly danger. A peril so grave, I dare not speak its name aloud. And we need the Avengers. Haven't you contacted the Fantastic Four? Because the Inhumans have a working relationship with the Fantastic Four. She's not like being flippant. She's like, what she's basically concerned. What the Fantastic Four? Afraid the Fantastic Four are the very cause of our terror. And I must say no more. I can't explain everything now because it's more dramatic if I wait. But please believe me, the fate of the world is in balance. And here we got this Inhuman Eye of Vision over here. I just love this. It just pulls back and he's chained. Correct, Avenger. Chained like the slave you are. So look at he just looks weird without the cape. Welcome, Avenger. Welcome to the battle cruiser Squid of the Imperial Atlantean Navy. I am Lord Arno, and you, as I said, are our slave, and you shall remain so forever. Slave? I am no man's slave, and no collar on earth can chain nor contain me. Explain yourself at once, or face my raging fury. I love they argue like this. An android fury? I find that amusing. Very well, android. Attack. Look at that. And then boom, he tries to activate his powers. And he's getting Kirby crackled. He's getting Kirby crackled. You don't want to get Kirby crackled. Just shows you that he cannot activate his powers. And he is look at this unnecessary bridge inside the Squid. Like, why would you build this inside a submarine? Because it's freaking cool. That's why. All right. Shut up. Don't tell Arno how to build the Squid. He's a Lord Arno of the Imperial Atlantean Arm. If he wants a useless bridge to nowhere in his submarine, he's going to get one. And just shut up. All right. In the 80s, my friends and I had Honda Elite scooter, big around. Yeah. In Mexico, we had a dangerous thing named Avalancha. Were those bikes or actual avalanches? I'm still teaching myself guitar. I would like to learn. I feel it should be a law that only the best artists should draw the Enchantress. It's in the name. I dread to think what she looks like now in Modern Marvel. Oh, man. She looks like I Am That Starfire, right? The Masters of Evil were Baron Zemo, the Enchantress, Executioner, Avengers. So it was just 3 people, right? All right. Yeah. So I think I added an unnecessary 4th. I still dress like the guy in the ad. So here we go. Speaking of ads, we got these t-shirts, a plastic belt. Look, friends, you could win your choice of neat prizes, free regular thing. And then what do we got over here? What are they selling over here? You could be happy, prosper. Oh, grit salesman. Grit sales. In the early days of my video, that was like a running joke. What was grit? Grit had the secret of the universe and nobody ever read the thing. And I forget who it was explained that grit was like a mostly rural thing. A lot of farmers, and it had like agricultural information. So of course, me living near New York City had no use for grit, but it was immensely popular elsewhere. Groggy, he wakes up and he sees Atuma, Emperor of Atlantis. And it's funny because Atuma has 2 different helmets. He's got the helmet that looks like a bunny rabbit, and then he's got this George Perez. So the early George, you can't see the top. The early head attire kind of looked like a rabbit. It's kind of funny. A couple people like making fun of it made it look like a rabbit, but here he's got this cool, like Galactus-like helmet, and he just runs up and just punches the crap out of. Look, notice that Vision doesn't even say anything. Atuma just goes on a rant and just punches him, and he chooms him. Boom! And because you must be completely broken, I can only destroy my body, Atlantean. Not my will. And he's like, that we shall see. Boom! And what's he doing? He's just beating the crap out of the Vision. I shall have my revenge. A revenge against Namor the Submariner, who brought me to such a crushing defeat when he last we fought upon the fighting the floating island known as Hydro Base. And supervillain team up number 3. And event I've battled a throne I have fought ever since I lost it years ago in Avengers number 33. So Atuma has like a lot to he wants to reclaim the throne. He claims that he's the true emperor of Atlantis, and he wants to use the vision in his schemes to defeat and humiliate Namor. So this, they're flying around, and now what do we got here? See, I don't know about you, but this type of stuff right here, this little asterisk this just gave me like, oh wow, it's part of a bigger world. It's a continuing from something else. That is so cool. This just isn't some random story just inserted. This is like part of a longer narrative. It made it epic. It made it like important. The continuity has always been important, and it was inspiring to me. It made me feel that everything mattered. That if you read a comic book in 20 years, it's not just dismissed because you're on the wrong side of history or whatever. It's part of a long story, a long narrative, and I love these. I had a friend that was like, I'm not going to get comics. They're always referencing other comics you're never done, and I'm like, history is never done. But that chased him away from comics, but it made me more interested in it, that it was a bigger world that I was invited to. Yeah, you had to spend money and stuff like that, but nothing is free. I love that. And once they started disregard continuity doesn't matter. Continuity doesn't matter. And I understand there's continuity errors, and I love that Stan Lee made a game out of it. You can get a no prize for explaining how it's not. I loved all of that. And then, the Jake Quesada years, they just kind of slowly did away with continuity, and it just ruined it for me. Could you just imagine like you're reading the Similarian, and then by the end of it, you just like, yeah, there's robots now, I know I never mentioned it before, but robots are cool, and that other stuff just isn't important. What matters is this moment right now, this crystallized moment. And then just also keep in mind, if you don't like it, just wait. In 6-7 months, right now won't matter. That's what they were telling me in the comics, and I believed them. It doesn't matter, so I don't matter, so I'm out. But look at this panel. Oh my God. Submariner fighting all the Avengers. Like, this is one thing that always makes me laugh, and it can only happen in comic books, is the number of times superheroes fight each other, like smash you through a wall, and then like the next appearance you're on the team. Like, there's no way Namor should ever be on the Avengers. In his first appearance, he had a tidal wave, just snuck attack Manhattan. How many people died when Namor attacked Manhattan? Just look at a 3-foot tidal wave attacks a city like in Thailand, and 100,000 people are killed. We're talking a tidal wave bigger than skyscrapers, and now he's on the Avengers. No, Osama bin Laden doesn't get to join the Avengers. But that's comic books for you. And I chalk it up. Here's how I rationalize it: is I keep thinking of it in role-playing games. Like, the average human has a charisma of 9. In Villains and Vigilantes, 9, 10, and 11 is normal human. So if you have a 10 in a stat, that is normal humans. So if you had a 10 in strength, intelligence, if anybody knows what I'm talking about. Whereas Namor, one of his abilities is heightened charisma. So he must have like a 30 charisma. So you have a charisma that's so high that people forgive you of these horrible things. Like, his charisma is as strong as Spider-Man is strong, or Spider-Man is agile. You know what I mean? Like, his personality is a superpower. That's the only way I rationalize things like that. Look at this panel. Namor just being Atuma Atuma will claim the world. I just love this. It's like plan, capture the vision. Step 2, step 3, claim the world. You know, it's one of those things. So before I turn the page, let's get the Enchantress must now have an extra appendage. Ooh, they should revive grit. Did you ever get any? Did you ever get any grit? I'd rather be Kirby crackled than choomed any day. Now there's words to live by. I'd rather be Kirby crackled than choomed any day. Absolutely. Absolutely. Nobody wants to be choomed. Nobody. Someone should draw a cartoon with Arnold being asked who's the true emperor of Atlantis. And Arnold says, it is not the Tuma. Well, you're the artist. You're the artist. I could. Somebody's laughing at Marcus. Don't laugh at Marcus. He can't help it. He's special. His mom told him so. All right, let's turn the page. We got adjust the eye of Agamotto. We got Triton standing very attentively. But why? Because he's at dude. So I also want to point out that how many hidden cities and enclaves and technical. It's just, you know, right now it's cool. Wakanda, you know, it's Africa and it's the most powerful. Yeah, but there was also Atalan. There was also I forget the name, Kunlun, where what's his name came from, Iron Fist. There's this citadel in the Savage Land. There was all of these hidden super advanced cities in Marvel Comics, that Olympia from the Eternals. In DC did it too. It's just a comic book trope. There's a dime a dozen of these super advanced cities. So the medical center switched. So she's doing all of these super scanning Avengers tests to find out where everybody is, because we need to help. And she's saying, according to Iron Man, they use the backup craft. The regular one was blown up. And then Triton says, why not send your brother Pedro to find them, Wanda? Surely Quicksilver. He goes, Pedro, but he's with, you're not Triton. You're an imposter. And she just does what Scarlet Witch does, which is a good question. What does Scarlet Witch actually do? Scarlet Witch affects probabilities. So she could cause unlikely things to occur. And at the beginning, she didn't really control what happened. She just waved her fingers and we saw what happened. And later on, she kind of got like control over it. And now she can do whatever the F she wants. But at the beginning, she just like cursed you. And then later on, she could bless people that she was friends with. So it's called a hexsphere, or in this case, with Wanda wounded, a hex hemisphere. And in that expanding bubble of sheer magic, it hits the imposter like a summer thunderstorm. So what does she do? She throws this bubble at him, and inside this bubble, she creates a thunderstorm. I mean, her powers are so ill-defined. Like originally, she caught, if she pointed at you, bad luck happened. You know, that's what it was. Now she can do anything, and she stands there stunned. And what do we have here? I love how did these shoulder things. You see all this broken Triton costume, and now we got Tyrak the Treacherous. He was impersonating Triton to trick the Avengers, because step 1, capture the vision. Step 2, trick Wanda. We don't know what step 3 is. Rule the world. Step 4, rule the world. Now we got, adjust the eye of Agamotto. She almost got thumbed. Which is almost as bad as choomed. But Tyrak, as much as he is a slaughterer and he's terrible and treacherous, he's still a gentleman, and he's not going to choom a woman. He's going to thum a woman, but he wouldn't choom a woman. Boom. And now she's leaving. She's wounded. She's at half power because they're implying that she needs 2 hands to use her hexes. So with 1 hand wounded, she's at half power. She waves her hand and it throws a couch at him. He crashes the couch in perfect George Perez. I call this the Perez principle. He always says, when things get destroyed, draw 10 times the amount of debris. It just makes it look more dramatic. So this is the the Perez principle in effect. And now we got. So I just love this. Jarvis shows up with a high-tech weapon, gets dismissed, and I'm just gonna go make tea. I'm gonna go make tea for Triton. Tea for Triton. How's that? Want to make a play? Tea for, yeah, a nice musical. Tea for Triton. Who's in it with me? And then he runs to assist, and here she is. She's cornered. She's weak. I'm too weak to fight him effectively. If only the Vision were here. If only, and it, only. What is the Vision Scarlet Witch blasting with? A hex sphere. Hex sphere. And then within this hex sphere, the improbable happens. And so she threw a sphere at him, and inside the sphere, it was a thunderstorm. It's not impossible, but it's improbable. So this was a better use of her powers, if you ask me. She points, and what? I guess gravity gets canceled or whatever. That's kind of impossible, but whatever. You know, the couch goes in front of him, and he smashes it. Now we got, oh, excellent. Hey, kids, it's O.J. Simpson coming at you with Juice Mobiles, multi-purpose shoes. Hang loose, it's the juice. I wonder if these shoes fit. And if these shoes fit, can you quit? So here you go. Spot-built Juice Mobiles are designed like the shoes I wear, but they're priced for you. Fabulous full-color poster of the juice. Send $1 to Spot Built Poster, 432 M Columbia Street, Cambridge, Massachusetts. Offer expires December 31st, 1976. So unfortunately, you can't get the full-size O.J. Simpson poster anymore, which is a shame. I mean, wouldn't you love to adorn your living room with the life-size picture of O.J. Simpson? For some reason, you don't really see him too much anymore. I don't know. And then we got the letters page. I love looking at the letters pages. I love when I find like a famous person, like a comic pro's name in the letters page. So right now we got Michael Beagle, George Andre Titus, Scott Gibson, Anthony Goodwin. And I always like to see where they're from. I sometimes you see like, oh wow, that's kind of where I grew up. So they're writing letters. This blue over here is like a response to the letters, and then this yellow over here is, you know, an in-house ad. Don't forget Howard the Duck kind of thing. I love letters pages. It's just it's a good way to like make us feel like we're all part of something. You could write a letter, you could get a letter answered, talk to the end. It's just so much fun. So much fun. And that's what I want to do. Again, if you liked my comic, Heroic Tales #1, or if you didn't like my comic, you got a criticism, you want to say something, I want to bring letters pages back. So if email heroic mails at heroic mails at yahoo.com with a letter. So far I got one letter. So you want to be published in my I want to do letters pages. You know what I mean? It would be fun. It would be fun. And it's not, if you got something negative to say, I'll publish it. If you know, the only thing is if I get 6,000 letters, I can only publish a few. So there you go. Nobody wants me to write another editorial. Doesn't the Scarlet Witch have magical? JP Fawn, how you doing? Doesn't Scarlet Witch have magical abilities mixed with her own powers or something? So yes, that happened later on. At this point, she didn't. You know, they called it magic, but it was mutant. You know, later on, she studied magic. So at this point, again, she was originally a mutant with the power to create bad luck in people. They called her a witch because it was like she could point at milk and milk would curdle. You know, she could point at a pregnant cow and it would miscarriage. You know, all the classic bad luck that witches were associated with. And I thought it was a cool, brilliant name for a cool, vague power. But she turned out to be popular. They reformed her. She joined the Avengers. And I just think people misunderstood her powers. Yeah, who am I? I'm the arrogant guy that I understand the Scarlet Witch's powers. But she has hex powers. She gives you bad luck. It's a mutant ability. And then later on, because of the name Witch, it had to be magic, and she trained magic, and now it's, it is what it is. But yes, you're absolutely right. And it is convoluted. It's absolutely convoluted. Everything about the Scarlet Witch is convoluted, from her powers to her relationships to her lineage. Everything about, and I still love the character, but it's absolutely convoluted. She should be the convoluted witch. There's her new name. Yes, this comes with a free bloody knife. For me, George Perez is in the pantheon with Jack Kirby. Absolutely logic. No argument there. He's in the pantheon with Jack Kirby, John Byrne, Alex Ross, and John Romita Sr. Absolutely. Absolutely. The only one you're missing is John Buscema. Put John Buscema in there, and then we are in perfect alignment. These shoes make sneaking through bushes easy, kids. Absolutely. Best part is if you step in a puddle of blood with these shoes on, no imprint. They're coated with a space age polymer so that you do not leave footprints in blood, and that's important. OJ died last year. Yes, he did. And you know what? What's the bad part about OJ? I don't wish ill on anybody, and I do understand. The older I get, I understand we got business to attend, but he never found the real killers. So if OJ dies, having never, that was his life work. He was going to find the real killer. Do you think he's going to become a ghost and haunt the house, looking for the real killer? I don't know. We that could be a second musical play. The haunting of OJ, the haunting of the pool boy cabana. I'd rather have the 6-foot Frankenstein drawn by Jack Davis than a Juice poster. That's, can't argue. I think he trained with Agatha Harkness before this. Before this particular issue, did that happen later or before this? I forget. Correct me if I'm wrong. Weren't Scarlet Witch mutant powers called hex powers before she got? Absolutely. You're absolutely right. No need to correct her. For me, John Buscema is only a level below my pantheon. Okay. Steve Ditko, how did I fit? I think there's room in the pantheon for Steve and John. But so we got another ad. We got some event superheroes assemble. We got the full roster of Marvel Comics over here. Do you guys want to do some isokinetics with me? The new breakthrough in muscle building, isokinetics. Customize your vans, cycles, buggies, inside and out. Make money learning how to customize vans. There you go. You cannot get a more 70s ad than this. Customize your vans. Oh my God. This is the ultimate 70s ad. And back to the comic. Check this out now. Check this out. We got Jarvis over here, armed with tea cozies, just jumps on Tyrek the treacherous. Just jumps up. I'll stop this brigand. Jarvis, don't. What in the name of Neptune? Schwack. He wasn't even worth a chum or a thum. He was just a schwack. Insignificant fool. Like, he just flexible. Oh no. So Jarvis, this guy's got moxie. Moxie is what he got. You attacked us. Why? For the simplest reason possible, woman. Because I've been ordered to by my commander-in-chief, Atuma, first warlord of Atlantis. So now he's just grabs Scarlet Witch, and then gas flies out of these little circles. My sleep spray will keep you silent and unresisting while I seek out your friends. Because that's what you want from a woman. You want a woman silent and unresisting. Let's be real, right? Once I've found them, my mission will be over, and I'll return to the ocean depths of which I adore. Even with an oxygen filter, I find the so-called atmosphere repellent for my water-conditioned gills. I long for the sibilant sea where I can Avengers assemble. Here comes the cavalry. So we got Iron Man, Captain America, and the Beast. What does the Beast do? Adjust the Eye of Agamotto. First thing you do, save the woman. Save the woman. Save your teammate. Save an Avenger. Save the Scarlet Witch. He just jumps in. Nope. Grabs her. And then what do we got here? I love this panel. It's let me see if I can adjust. You see the shield just coming at you. I love that perspective. It's on edge. It's dangerous. You know, it's gonna hurt. And what does he do? He catches the shield. Boom. My ocean-born strength and agility far exceed your puny human skills. Fighting you is child's play. Incredible. He caught my shield as though it were a frisbee. Iron Man, be careful. Against this third-rate hoodlum, don't make me laugh, Cap. Dolt, you face Tyrak the Treacherous. Now, if you were Lord Atuma, aspiring Emperor of Atlantis, would you want your henchmen to be called the Treacherous? I don't know. To me, this is just like, send this guy after one-on-one to take out the Avengers. Why? Because he's Tyrak the Treacherous. Get him out of here, you know. My Seabraid strength and speed have been increased by Atuma's scientist. I can crush you with ease. So I love this. He just smashes Iron Man with Captain America's shield, and then he just hits him with repulsor rays. Boom. You haven't gotten you may be stronger and faster, but you haven't gotten solar-powered armor. And I do. I do. Ever drink Moxie soda? It's a bizarre drink. Even after drinking a bottle, I'm not sure if I like it or hate it. Truly unusual. I never even heard of it, but I know what you're talking about. First time I had a mole poblano, the spicy chocolate sauce. I remember eating it. I was on a date with this girl Paula back in college, and I ate it, and I was like, I don't know if I like this. And then like a week later, I went back, and I am just hooked. So it's like coffee. It took me years to like coffee. Now I couldn't imagine not having coffee every day. But Moxie soda, I got to look it up. I don't think I've ever seen Cap Shield thrown for that perspective. Yeah, isn't this cool? If I was drawing Captain America, I would use that more often. That it just looks dangerous. You know, it looks like Cap was trying to kill. You know, that's a killing maneuver. You know, maybe he doesn't do it because it's so dangerous. The Ghostly Adventures of OJ would have been a great, yeah. Come on, kids, let's find the real killers. Moxie is terrible. Moxie is in all the Stephen King's. It's a real thing. I never heard of it, and I don't read Stephen King. Not because of his politics. I just never got into Stephen King. High school rings. A coin-filled barrel. Jeez. Get a barrel filled with coins. I kind of want that. 25 live seahorses. Become a motorcycle mechanic. Shark's teeth. You know, a switchblade comb. A lot of cool stuff in here. What we got here? That armor gives me repulsor rays and jet boots. It gives me all the force I need to scrunch, and look at his face. Without the energy to animate all the micro miniaturized servo motors, Iron Man's armor abruptly goes dead. Boom. Again, the Perez principle over here. Like a man felled by an axe, the Golden Avenger drops. Can't stand up, can't move. You know, why? Because, you know, this is just a minion too, and this minion is taking out all the Avengers. And here comes the Wasp over here. Classic Wasp maneuver. She flies in really close, flies her biospings. With Wanda and Iron Man both down, Vision still absent. We're almost half our fighting strength. I wish Thor were here, but he's not. And we've got to go on. So he sprays her, and the Yellow Jacket goes to save his wife. They're happily married at this point. And then he just grabs them, crushes them, and then sprays his fist. And then what do we got? Captain America. Captain America, one-on-one now. Keep in mind, the Beast is still running around, but Captain America just runs up like, arguably, who's more powerful, the Wasp, Yellow Jacket, or Captain America? So like you could argue that Captain America is the weakest Avenger right now because like technically he doesn't have any powers. I mean, the power to shrink is still a power. So there you go. I don't know. But we got Captain America. Just I love these pictures of Hawkeye, the Hulk in the background. This is Captain America you're fighting now. And to put it mildly, I'm mad. I'm mad. You know, I love this. Mister, you could take your sea chauvinism and shove it right up your sargasso. How's that? I love that. That is some grade A trash talk. Grade A trash talk. This is Captain America you're fighting out. And to put it mildly, I'm mad. I love that. This is trash talk. Let's check out the comments. I don't care for Stephen King's characterizations, but his books do get creepy. Creepy as in like scary, good creepy, or creepy as in bad creepy. I'm stealing that idea, but I'm giving you credit. The ghost. There you go. We're going to crowdfunding next month. The Ghostly Adventures of OJ. Peter Parker, the Amazing Spider-Man. Spider-Man and the Fly. So we got the Fly already in progress. He's captured Spider-Man, and Spider-Man talks him out of it, beats him up, and hands him a Twinkie. It's almost worth getting punched by Spider-Man if you're going to get a Twinkie, because Twinkies are delicious. The older I get, the more I like vanilla. Oh my God. You know, like that like vanilla taste. Like everybody says vanilla is dull. Vanilla is awesome. Vanilla is absolutely, awesome. So what? You going to get up, or have you lost? Oh, what is going on here? Or have you lost your nerve? Hardly. A tumor ordered you and your comrades captured. I obey my master in all things. Since your combative skill obviously outclasses my own, I must resort to other direct methods. So he smashes the wall. Beast is standing there doing nothing, and they're all just trapped under rocks. Oh, my stars and garters. That's just what the wizard did 2 days ago. I know, Beast. We observed that battle of my master's omni screen. You what? Was my statement unclear? The Avengers have been continuously watched for weeks. While Tuma conceived this awesome plan, we have prepared for every possible contingency, mutant. Tyrak the Treacherous cannot fail. Oh, we got the Beast over there. So you won't get an argument from me, Blue Bod. I'm getting out of here. So the Beast runs away. Beast runs away. So now he's showing his victory to Atuma. Shall we prepare the prisoners for transport, or would you prefer we search the mansion for weapons? We have no need for weapons. As Atuma planned, the Avengers themselves will be the weapon. And our power-wearing slave collars, they will vanquish the hated Submariner and destroy the hellish Hydra base and free our people from suspended animation. And then Atlantis is free and in our control. When Atlantis, Namor is slain, Atuma will rule over all, and Tyrak will stand beside him. You know, Tyrak the Treacherous is going to backstab Atuma. You know, you don't earn the appellate Treacherous for nothing. And then the World Encyclopedia of Comics. I had this, and I stored it in a musty area of the basement, and it literally disintegrated. We got look who's smiling now. This jerk is smiling. And that's Avengers 154. That is Avengers 154. So let's check out the comments. Glad to see Hawkeye in the background. Though shouldn't he have his bow aimed at the enemy? Yeah, he wasn't in this comic. If I remember correctly, he's hanging out with the two-gun kid someplace. So he is elsewhere. I just want to center this so it looks like the eye of Agbado again. All right. That is one of my favorite scenes with Captain America. Yeah, when he's hitting Tyrak, the Twinkie still exists. Twinkie still exists. Yes, we still got him. We got him. Good and bad creepy. He goes dark with human condition, but also gives you a sense of unease. I think it's because he forces you to invest a lot of time in the characters that you become concerned. He must be a good writer. I saw his movies, The Shining and Stand By Me and all the other ones, but I never read any of his stories. I think this is a comic I would have had to read back in the days to appreciate it. This is a setup to next issue. So all the Avengers are enslaved, and they're going to fight. It's you know, it's a typical superhero comic. All the superheroes get attacked, they get enslaved, and now they're going to go fight. Submarine. I don't know. I just love George Perez artwork. Amazing number I read. Just a little of Perez's Avengers. I placed him more with the Titans. Yeah, this is Perez not at his peak yet. If you ask me, his peak comes even the new Teen Titans comics, as great as they are. I still think Perez's peak is with when he's with Kurt Busiek in the Avengers. That is just so good. But yeah, I love Perez. He had like a 30-year career of just amazing comics. Segue. I love the War Machine red and white armor when Rhodey joined the West Coast of it. The red and white armor was like more clunky. This Iron Man armor is my Iron Man armor, of course, because this is when I first started reading these comics. So what do you think of this? It seems like Dale is a little disappointed. You have to read it in the day to appreciate it, but I don't know. I just loved it. It had a lot of characterization. It showed consequences. The Scarlet Witch was wounded a couple of issues ago, and she still has that wound, and the wound is playing a big part of the story. Wonder Man is recently come back from the dead. He doesn't have all his facilities yet, and the rest of the team doesn't trust him. So, and he was at that. I just realized that's a mistake because he was there at the beginning of the comic, but he doesn't partake in this fight at all. Is it because they don't trust him? They left him where he was. Is he getting checked out in the hospital? Whizzer is treated like an old man with human frailties. He's damaged and injured, and you don't see him again for like 10 issues or so. I think 165 is the next time you see him. I just love how this to me. I love this comic because of, like, dare I say, the C word, the continuity of everything. Like this is a between issue. If this was the X-Men, they'd be playing baseball with the out in the backyard, you know what I mean? Or the Teen Titans, they'd be having a picnic or something like that. But when the Avengers have an in-between issues, they still get attacked by Tyrek the Treacherous. I don't know. I just really dig this era. I saw this cover and I was like, oh man, I could randomly pick any issue from Avengers 150 to 200, even few after 200, and just you'd be amazed. I don't know. I could go on and on and on. I have this issue somewhere. I want to dig it out and read it. Cool. Happy Sunday, RJ. How's it going? I recently discovered Kirby art inked by Wally Wood. Yeah. What was that? It was a strip. A space strip. It was Kirby and Wally Wood. It's gonna drive me nuts. But you could get a big hardcover compilation of it. What is the name of that strip? Whatever. I'm sure Marcus knows. But there you go. What do you guys think? Avengers 154. Oh, these have got to be collected someplace. These can't just be lost, forgotten about comics. Just again, Space Commander, something like that. Maybe it is Space Command, but they look so good. They look so good. And as far as I know, it's the only Kirby Wood collaboration. But JP Fawn says, excellent. I like this Perez a lot. Yeah, me too. As far as I know, Perez started Marvel in Deadly Hands of Kung Fu with the Sons of the Tiger. And he was about to be fired by Marv Wolfman. Like, you're not that good. And you could see the limitations and the weakness in his art in those comics. And what did George Perez do? He didn't complain. He didn't cry. He didn't whine. He said, I got to get better. And he just made himself get better. He worked on his skill. And now, years later, Marv Wolfman and George Perez are a famous team on the new Teen Titans. That's that's the way you are if you're a professional. Somebody says you're not good enough, you don't pout, you don't cry, you get better. You get better. You know, when somebody says your books are late, you don't make fun of them. You finish your books and get them out on time. Yeah, Pablo Marcus, excellent. Yeah, he is. He works so good. You're absolutely right. He works so good with Buscema on Conan. You know, John Buscema with Pablo Marcos and why can't I think of the other guy's name? Alcala. What's his first name? So good, just so good, so good. What a concept! Reality. What a concept. So there you go. As normal, I'm done with the comic. So it looks like the comments are winding down. So I'll close it down. I got scripts to finish working on, so I could send them other pages to Oscar and Tonic Bowl. I got card backs that I'm still writing down, so I could send them to Renown to do the cards for the comics. Renzo is going to be sending. I just need a couple more pages from Renzo to send to Daniel. Daniel de la Silva, his father is apparently he lives like a couple of hours away from his father, and his father has heart issues, so he's always going back and forth. So he's, you know, waiting for him to color a couple of things, and then I could send everything to Kyle Prometheus to make a trailer. And then once he makes a trailer, I'll talk to Nick Axe and we'll build the campaign. So, you know, those are the steps that I got to do. I want to have the cards ready, so you know, when the campaign is built, you could see like I'm going to unlock these cards, you know, and you know, show this is what will hit when this is whatever produced. So the stretch, I'm going to keep this campaign simple. You could still get t-shirts. You could still buy anything available in the first campaign because I still got them. And then but I'm not going to really go overboard like I did first issue. So the only extra stuff is there'll be a small coin for Mary Sue. I really like those. There'll be a t-shirt, and then there'll be cards. That's the only new stuff because you know, the first campaign sets the budget for the second campaign, and that's the way it's going to be to going forward. So long. Thanks for all the fish. Oscar says, excellent Sunday. Thank you, Oscar. Thanks for entertaining me while I'm at work. What are you doing? What are you doing? Thanks. Always a good show to listen to while drawing. Cool. So I'm going to shut this down now. Oh yeah, I usually tell people what's going on in the following week. So I'm off work. So I didn't prepare, but I might be doing stuff. Mondays and Tuesdays, I always have game nights. So Wednesday is the next scheduled stream. I got Steve Barona, at 7 p.m. and then 8:30. I'll be on RJ's channel for Comic Book Team Up with Duck Bacon, and that's all I have scheduled. So I have Thursday open, Friday 7 o'clock open, and then 8:30 I'll do Comic Book Team Up. It's gonna be Swamp Thing versus Man Thing, and it looks like Don Draw stuff that is going to be doing the Patriarch this Saturday. So it would be proper for me to be there and talk, you know, to draw my character. So I got to be there. Nice having the stream in the background while drawing Crom the Destroyer. Yes, Nick Axe is the artist for Crom the Destroyer from RJ from the Fourth Age. So you see, beautiful artwork. I love that female character with the horns. I can't get enough. Just a great design. And Nick's my mouth. Nick's art has a wonderful old-fashioned but yet modern style to it. I really like it. Really like it. It's one of my most anticipated comics. And I think there's 3 chapters, and the first chapter was drawn by Jim O'Reilly, and then chapters 2 and 3, if I'm correct, are being drawn by Nick. Later Nick, later Gator, and I'm going to shut this down and go have some breakfast. All right, see you guys. Bye-bye.